Bay YouTube, it's Charles here, and today we're going to be doing an unboxing of a new G.I. Joe. Actually, it's cool because the first video I did on this channel was an unboxing of the Spirit Iron Knife G.I. Joe action figure. And here we have G.I. Joe Storm Shadow, part of the Aroshikage. His alliances go back and forth between Cobra Commander and G.I. Joe. Not a character I am too familiar with. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've seen him in the comic books, most recently in the Scarlet comic book. He was part of that part of the Energon universe. It was put out by Image / Skybound. But I don't recognize him from my childhood. But like I said, I recognize him from that comic, and then I did a little reading up on Wikipedia. I cheated a little bit. But very cool looking figure. I've been wanting to get more of the Aroshikage, more of the ninjas in my G.I. Joe collection. Right now, all I have is Jinx. And so this will be a nice addition. Maybe I'll be able to get, what is his name? I can't remember his name. Snake Eyes. I'm definitely on the lookout for a Snake Eyes action figure. I haven't seen any that are really up to the quality I want. They're within my price range. The cheaper ones, they're not at this 6-inch scale. And the more expensive ones are just that. A lot more expensive than I want to pay at the moment. But that's the great thing about being a collector, is the hunt is never done. There's always something else out there for you to look for. So, the way I do these reviews, first off, I am going to be talkative, because that is one of my favorite things about doing unboxings, is sharing my history with the character, with the franchise, with the toys themselves, and, getting a little bit of that history and that personal connection, because that's what collecting is all about. And so outside of just yammering on, I have a structured process. I start with the appearance. How does it look? Does it compare to the character if it's based on a character? How, just how does it look? How does it compare? And then we go from that to articulation. How does it move? How many joints does it have? Is it posable? Is it playable? And then the last criteria is accessories. And that's what comes with the action figure, and we have no lack of accessories right here. So let's get into the appearance. A very good looking figure. It looks a lot like the figures I've seen in the Skybound Image comic books. With a lot of these ninja characters, and not just with G.I. Joe, but I noticed this with my Penta L Zero Medio figure and my Pentagon Dark action figure. Is it up here? I have it's displayed somewhere around here. But you have all these extra pieces that really hinder the movement, and it looks like that may be a bit of an issue here. Not as bad as... No, actually not. The rubber is pretty pliable. And so despite having a lot of heavy layers, it's still movable. And you talk about layers and detail. Outside of the white ninja suit, we have the ropes here they stay connected, but they are a separate piece. I mean, if you're careful, you can remove them, but I don't see the point. And then we have the sheaths for the swords. Actually holds two. That's very cool. And then we have this samurai belt piece with compartments in the front. They're not practical. They're just aesthetic, but they look pretty cool. And they don't get in the way of the movement. And then we have... down here we have, not really boots, we have the ninja style shoes, but almost something like a wrestling kick pad that goes around the calf and ankle. So it is a very cool looking feature. A figure with a lot of features and details and layers. A lot of layers. So now we talked about the appearance, let's talk about the articulation. We're going to go from head to toe. Starting with the head, it's on a ball joint. The movement is hindered a little bit by this hood, but that's okay. We get a lot of left and right motion, not so much back and forth or round and round, but full range of motion left to right. Going down from that, we have the ball jointed elbows with a butterfly cut, so you can actually get your arm extended around the chest a little bit more. You can get that arm back behind the body a little bit more because of these butterfly cuts that actually give a little bit more extension to this ball jointed elbow. You have a cut in between the shoulder. That's what I meant to say, ball jointed shoulder. We have a cut in between the shoulder and the bicep for horizontal movement. Double jointed pinless elbows. And then on top of that, we have hands that go round and round, back and forth. Actually, no, they don't have any back and forth movement. But they are interchangeable. We have a couple of sets of hands here that we'll cover in accessories. Okay, now this is different. We have, with the hand, you can actually move them vertically, but not horizontally. So that is a very interesting feature. I don't know if it's specific to his movements or what, but that is very unexpected. Here, take a look at this joint in between the hand and the forearm. Like I said, it moves vertically, but not left or right. Very interesting choice. And then we go to the torso. We have the rocker going back and forth. Great range of motion on that. I usually prefer a ball joint on the torso, but we have a lot of range of motion here with this rocker. And then the hips, they swivel a little bit, but they are a little bit tight. We have left and right motion from the hips. Do we have a cut on the thigh? Yes, we do. For horizontal movement. Double jointed pinless knees that are actually very stiff coming out of the box. Now this is a collector tip that I give in almost every video which it applies. If you have an action figure that is stiff coming out of the box, do not force the joint. It is an easy way to break your action figure, and nobody likes that. What you can do, what most people do, is they use warm water, and they soak it in warm water to get those joints loosened up. I actually discovered my method by accident. I was playing The Sims on my laptop, and I had an action figure laying down by the cooling vent, and the hot air that shoots out of that vent is just the right temperature to get these joints loosened up and to get these joints moving. So never ever force a joint. And so we have, like I said, the double jointed pinless knees. And then we have, yes, at the top of the boot kick pad here, we have a horizontal movement. And then the feet are on, they go up, backward, and forward, and a little side to side rotation here. So that's a combo here of a rocker and a ball joint on the foot, and so it's almost like a separate ankle and foot joint. And you usually don't see this type of movement out of the foot ball joint, but it moves very independently. So that is our articulation. Let's take a look at the accessories. So we'll start with the backpack. Plugs right into the back here. Has some arrows, decorative, they're stored on the back. They don't really do anything. They're not functional, just aesthetic, and it plugs right in here onto the back. And then you have this little harness type strap that goes around the front to give the appearance of a connected backpack. So I did that, and then I mentioned here we go. Get these swords out. I mentioned the two sheaths we have for the swords, and here are our two samurai swords, both identical, red handle. Nothing too fancy here. Textured red handle. And they go right into the sheath very snugly, so you don't have to worry about those falling out and losing track of these. They fit in here like a glove. And then we have extra hands. I am not going to take all of them out. Just take out one of each as an example here. But we have the open hand that comes with the action figure. We have a set of closed fists for punching. Let's see how these go on and off. Very, very tight. Okay. Now, this is very interesting here. I pointed out how we have the vertical movement on the hand here, on the open hand. But if you look at the fist and the other hand that comes with it, they move horizontally traditionally. And that is very interesting. The other set of hands are chopping hands. They go flat out so you can do your kung fu chops, your karate motions. Very interesting with the hands. I'm glad I actually decided to change that one out so we could see that detail. It looks like we have a compound bow of some type. Yeah, look at this, it's all flat black. A lot of different textures, but no color differentiation. Okay, and that would go fit in the hand like so. I'm thinking maybe the hands are like that to work with the bows. Possibly. And then on top of that we have these look like some type of claws that you can put on the hands as some kind of weapon. Let's see what hand they actually work on. So they will actually slide loosely on the flat hand. Let's try the slightly open hand here. Okay, yeah, these actually, so the gripping hands that come with the action figure, look at how the claws fit right in the hand. So that vertical movement may have something to do with the functionality of these claws, possibly. That's just my supposition. But that is a cool look. So yeah, a lot of accessories. And I like the fact that it came with a bow. But unlike the Scarlet action figure, I think they tried to do too much with it. That last one they put out, the retro card. Because they gave you the bow and they gave you these arrows that just were way too easy to lose. They fit in the backpack but rather loosely. And they would just pop out all the time. And as far, I mean, it's great for accessories. I mean, for photographs, I've seen people use them for like, you know, you can put one in the joint, make it look like you shot somebody with the arrow, but outside of photography, it's, you know, too easy to lose. I ended up just leaving those in the plastic bubble case there. But overall, a great action figure. You know, tight, sturdy joints. Even though we have this big, bulky waistband, it does not hinder movement of the legs at all. We have full forward, side to side, back at the hip there. And this piece is not a hindrance at all to that. Lots of posability and playability. And I think we'll have even more once, you know, we get a little bit of heat to these knee joints. We'll be able to get some cool poses going with it. Overall, I'd give this action figure a B. Let's give you a closer look at it. Rotate it around for you guys. You know, you look here, yeah, I like the fact you can actually see the musculature and striations in the forearms. And so that is a very interesting detail. The only exposed skin that you see, they still put a lot of detail into it. It's not a big, bulky, imposing figure, but it's a ninja. It's not supposed to be. And it balances pretty well. Did it stand up? Got a lot of fuss. Like I said, definitely give this one a C and a B. The highlights being the cool layered aesthetic. I'm really feeling that. I like the backpack with the arrows that are aesthetic, not functional, because you're not going to lose these. They're attached to the pack here. And then, as I'm observing here, it looks like we have a place to put the arrow on this backpack accessory as well. Put the bow on this backpack accessory. And it fits perfectly there. That looks very cool. So this backpack accessory looks very good. And it serves a practical purpose. I like the dual sheaths. And the claws are very cool. I'm definitely feeling the extra hands with the punch and the chop hands. And I'm not sure what's going on with these vertical hands, but I'll get over it. I actually picked these up from Amazon and got it on sale for $20 each. And be on the lookout for my next G.I. Joe unboxing. I don't know if I'll post this before or after, but we got Alpine here, so I'm really looking forward to getting into that. And this figure looks like, again, another action figure with a lot of accessories and a lot of layers. So I really like what they're doing here with this line of figures. So that's it. Get it at your, check Amazon for all kinds of deals. I think they still had them listed at around the $20 mark. More than a fair price for these. These are very high quality action figures. So I'll see you next time. Until then, keep buying them figs. Yo, Joe! I am out.